we're going to do our best to highlight all of the great action from closing week. So with that, let's bring it back into the studio. Caleb, I'll bat lead off for this one. It was Tommy Joe absolutely romping, running away with it in the Grade 1 Spinaway.
And you're going to see the Spendthrift Silks. That's going to be a theme. Spendthrift, of course, is the home of the best stallion of the new era, talking about Into Mischief. And this horse, yet another Into Mischief, winning a big graded stakes race.
Let's take a look back at the stretch run and how it all played out. It was a big finish to get it across the wire.
Tommy Joe sweeps on by, and Percy's Bar is starting to roll home on the outside, the half in 44-2. And Tommy Joe has built up a commanding 5-length lead. Percy's Bar is doing her best, but it's all about Tommy Joe, who has a first-class ticket to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Tommy Joe romps in the Spinaway.
We heard it from the call. There was a lot on the line. A Breeders' Cup win and you're in. Earns an invitation to the NetJets Juvenile Fillies there. Tommy Joe, top billing out at the Spa. And it was the Gator, Kendrick Carmouche, who had himself a weekend, Caleb.
It's been an awesome summer for Kendrick Carmouche. He had Deterministic, who he set a course record at Aqueduct earlier this year, got a couple of Grade 1 wins, and then right there on Tommy Joe. We heard great fractions, 44 and change. We know the Into Mischiefs, of course, are so fast. And the East Coast two-year-old fillies generally have been better than the West Coast two-year-old fillies, so the horse could be the favorite in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies.
We also had the Jockey Club Gold Cup over this past weekend, and it came with a bit of controversy, especially from the early portion of this race. A stunning feat of athleticism from Irad Ortiz, but it was Antiquarian getting it done at a big price.
And we thought that the Preakness was the most roughly run race all year. Well, the Jockey Club Gold Cup would like to have something to say about that after a wild beginning. But here's Antiquarian, and these are horses that you always got to watch out for. Horses that were good at 3 and now getting really good at 4. Here comes Sierra Leone barreling down the middle of the racetrack, but Antiquarian got the jump. And how about the main duo, Pletcher and Velasquez, 3 straight days, 3 straight Grade 1s. And this one came as a bit of a surprise. Yes, of course, Mind Frame, we know, lost Irad Ortiz Jr., White Barrio got jammed up to some degree. Sierra Leone was compromised. This horse stayed out of trouble, but got the biggest win of his career.
Antiquarian punches a big ticket out here to the West Coast. Will join us for the Longines Classic at the Breeders' Cup later this year. With that, let's take it to our third. In case you missed it, a big highlight from yesterday, Monday's program. Ted Noff, he surges to the top of the East Male Juvenile Division in the Grade 1 Hopeful.
And our man Ned Toffee is the man in charge at Spendthrift, so they swapped around the first letters, and here comes Ted Noffy. And we mentioned Velasquez and Pletcher. They won the Grade 1 Pacific Classic on Saturday with Fierceness. They took Antiquarian to win the Grade 1 Jockey Club on Sunday, and then here we are on Monday, 3 straight days, 3 straight Grade 1s, and Into Mischief the Stallion absolutely ruling the world as this horse takes off with authority. And we saw that Tommy Joe was by Into Mischief. Ted Noffy is by Into Mischief. Sovereignty is by Into Mischief. The only time Sovereignty lost all year was by Tapan Street, who's by Into Mischief. And even go back to last year as a 2-year-old, the last time that Sovereignty lost as a 2-year-old was a horse named Prater, who's by Into Mischief.
The team having a fantastic weekend out at the Spa to close things off. Here we are on a Tuesday afternoon, and we're still talking about the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Antiquarian got it done at a big price, but early in that race, Irad Ortiz, I mentioned the athleticism that he had to show almost to stay aboard and stay within that race. What was your takeaway, Caleb? Is it just rough racing from the jump, or was there a bit of foul play?
Well, I think that on back-to-back days, Dub, we saw something very important. We saw a disqualification in the Green Flash of Delmar with Reef Runner, and we saw that wild melee early in the Jockey Club. And what happened was, early in the race, these jockeys were not maintaining their course out of the gate. And the steward, as this is the early favorite for Photo of the Year from Barbara Livingston, that is just a wild moment in time on a racetrack with your champion jockey who was going to win the title heading down to the dirt. But look, the stewards are setting a new precedent that you cannot cut off rivals at the gate. And yes, I know that there's still almost 2 minutes of racing time after what happens at the gate, but there was a DQ at the gate in the Green Flash, and there was a DQ at the gate in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. These jockeys need to stay straighter out of the blocks.
And for more reports, Irad Ortiz doing quite fine. So here we are, Irad Ortiz hitting the socials to share this update. I want to thank everyone for For all the calls and texts and well wishes, I plan on taking a few days off and return to riding on Thursday at Kentucky Downs. So having a break, but not much of one, just a few days on the sidelines.
I mean, 3 days off for a jockey would be like a Aruba vacation, the way that these guys play. And I'll tell you what, as we get to that final bullet point, or well, at least with Irad winning, if he had a little bit of a less margin over his brother, Jose Ortiz, he ended up winning by 4. He got cleared to ride. I'm telling you right now, if it was by 1 win, he probably would have rode that final day.
And let's take a look at how the updated trainer standings finished up as we move away from summer. It was a dead heat between star conditioners Chad Brown and Todd Pletcher, both having 32 apiece. It was Linda Rice with another fantastic performance out east with 24. Miguel Clement really feels like the underrated hot bun of the last 8 weeks. And then Bill Mott closes out the top 5 with 16 wins. So to Chad Brown, Todd Pletcher, well done. Fantastic training jobs once again.
And those two were the big favorites to win the title, so it kind of seems fitting that they would share it. And it kind of came down to the Jockey Club. It was Pletcher's Antiquarian that held off Chad Brown's Sierra Leone. And, of course, if that result could have flipped, maybe Chad Brown wins it outright. But both very deserving.
I like it. They both got smiles on their faces. We've got 2 winners for that one. So sound off. Let us know what was your top highlight from the summer meet out at the Saratoga for the Spa racing. It has been fantastic on Fridays there as well.